Okay, so the first one, discuss how the artwork directly related to the meaning of the story. So what did you guys think for that one? Do you have any particular pages?
I know on page 15, I really liked the way that they did the art style here with the, they were talking about how the Shah's regime just allowed the movie theater full of people to just burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They didn't even try to save them, so they showed it was like a really abstract, like all the ghosts of the people floating away while there were people on fire trying to run out the door. I just thought the art style on that looked really nice.
And
Some
I think
creative artwork right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting how like that's kind of earlier in the story, and it kind of shows how much the government just like doesn't really. I mean, they care, but not really.
Yeah.
They just kind of like let it happen.
Yeah, it says up top too, the firemen didn't arrive until 40 minutes later. So they wanted to show that they were putting in some effort, but not enough to actually save the people.
And I feel like the way she drew it kind of looks like they're suffering.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like if someone, like firefighters are trying to help them, she wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah, they look like they're wailing
They're
and
like
pain
in
and
pain
everything.
and,
Yeah. She's trying to like, get the government's point across of like, we don't care about these people, we want to make it an example of them.
Mm-hmm.
Also on like page 22, how she interprets her grandfather being a prince, like the elephant and then weirdly the lion with the sword behind. I thought that was like a child like imagination, which actually helps out with the story. It basically she like they said she's a child in this, so I mean the art style of it I think is like almost like a good drawing style for like a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
like
tell. You can
exactly
tell
what
it looks like a child's artwork.
Exactly like what her mind like when she pictured that. I have page 6, which is where the first panel on the page is where it's like basically cut in half, and one side she's wearing her veil and the other side is just like her normal self. And I think like the side with the veil is kind of like the government tries to make it seem like the people have a say, but they're all like they don't. And how when they're wearing the veil, everyone just looks like the same person. They don't have any individuality. Like in the other side, where she can think for herself in a way. Like she doesn't have to follow other people's opinions.
Yeah, and I liked the way that that it was split into two sections. One with the background side is all like rulers and gears and hammers and everything, showing that they're allowed to be creative and think scientifically. Whereas on the right side, it's just like vines with leaves on them. So I think that's supposed to symbolize it's just like simplistic, like follow the religion on the right side.
Yeah.
Whereas on the left side, you actually get to think critically about the world around you.
And like have opinions, while like you don't follow someone else's.
I liked page 42 because everyone's actually smiling for the first time, and it says when the country had their first celebration. It was the day they left the, what do you call him? Dictator?
The Shah.
The Shah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really expressing themselves, and like throughout the rest of the book you don't really see smiles. You see people with like regular faces and everything like that.
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. I think it's also interesting how like she made it a full page, and every single person is like just looks so happy.
They have the peace signs up too.
Yeah,
if you notice
because
that.
they think they're like it's all over, but like this is only page 42 in her story.
And also,
so it's like they think it's all done, but it's not even close to being done.
Yeah.
Also, the way their shirts look, they're all like textile, like they're like modern looking. So basically,
like
it's like
individuals.
Exactly, and then later on, it does not work that way. So it's like, yeah, they won, but at what cost? It's type of thing.
And no one's wearing their veils.
Exactly.
Either. So it shows like individuality, I guess.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next one? The next question?
Sure.
Okay. That was
number 3.
Give a close analysis of a particular panel, image, or page you found interesting. Who wants to start and show theirs?
I'll do mine on page 140 and 141. When the bombing was happening and Margie was outside and she's trying to head home and her mother finds her out. Her mom's not wearing shoes, which I found surprising a little bit. But I mean, and she's wearing these Nike shoes, which before she was like
Right.
they were considered bad.
Mhm.
in their
Considered punk shoes.
Yeah.
That's what they call
Yeah, punk shoes. So I just found that surprising that she was wearing shoes and her mom's not wearing shoes, but yet her mom wants Margie to be like free and like not have all these problems with the government that they're facing with like them wearing the veil and covering themselves up. She just wants to be free.
And I think it's also like the panel right before it. It's almost completely black. And then when she finds her mom, it's like she just looks hopeless in the first one.
Yeah.
And then when she finds her mom, it's kind of like a relief, like showing her.
And she
relief in
has
it.
some tears coming down too, of joy.
Yeah.
Almost to see her mother.
Yeah.
Because she didn't know what to expect.
And then what did you say about when she was when the mom like ran out of the house? Like what did she do? She.
Oh, that's right.
She grabbed her veil.
She stopped her.
Oh, right.
Made sure she had to go get her veil, which is really, it's kind of funny because that's something that you wouldn't normally do. Like you wouldn't think to run back and get your veil before you go help someone.
Yeah, or like run out to find your daughter.
Yeah, instincts
exactly.
usually to grab something like most memorable to you and something very valuable that you want to keep.
And it's like unfortunate that that's their first thought. Just something
Yeah,
that like
it's-
it was their neighbor.
Gotta make sure I don't get arrested before I go.
Yeah. Or,
Their
help my
neighbor's
neighbor.
house was bombed, and the first thing she thinks is she has to grab her veil before she goes outside. I think that's just really sad.
Yeah.
On page 149, on the bottom left, I like how when she's about to go away to Austria, she gives her most precious things, the posters that her parents had to smuggle in through her father's jacket, and she gives them to her friends to like remember her. I like that.
I think it showed like that particular part because previously she was kind of being like selfish. Like her parents were going on vacation, and she's like, "Oh, what do you want?" She could have just said like, "Whatever you think I'd like." Like she like practically
She knew
made
exactly
a
what
list
she wanted, yeah.
of exactly.
And then when
so
she
I
got
think-
back, she was like, I didn't want photos, like, you guys got me posters.
Yeah,
and
she
very
was being
happy
like
about that.
selfish.
Yeah.
And I think this shows like now that she's moving on, like not living in the same place, she's not.
She's
She's
grown up,
thinking
she's
of
not
other
a kid
people.
anymore.
Yeah, she's not selfish anymore, and she's giving the stuff that she loves away.
Well, the problem, like I think, that you picture, she can't get all the stuff that we would consider like normal, and she wanted all like that type of stuff. She wanted to be like a little more westernized, but yet still have the religion of.
Country.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like difficult to be both. And that's also why I think the colors are split. It's like divided between modern and old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something I found on page 75 too. It was when they were discussing the fundamentalist woman and man versus the modern woman and man.
Right.
And that all links together too to the art style as a whole is what I was thinking of. It's about how it's black, everything's black and white. It's either the fundamentalist or modern,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's either you go with one side or the other. And I also think that back to question one, which I forgot to put in there earlier,
Yeah.
is about how the art style. I think she purposefully made it black and white to make sure everything was devoid of color and to make it more relatable icons for people. Because I think the point of the story is that she wanted to make people understand, make her readers know that these are just normal, everyday people. That I think she wants to dispel some of the stereotypes that we generally have of just like bombing, like suicide vest people and everything like that with the turbans. Yeah, so she wanted to make it more relatable, more simplistic, so that people could just understand that.
Yeah, because I feel like this book has so much in it.
Yeah.
And I think if it had color, for me personally, I wouldn't have probably gotten as much as I did out of it.
Because you
If it
would
was
have
color,
focused
it
more
would
on
have
the
been
color.
distracting.
You would have been focused on the color a lot more.
Yeah. And so I like how she puts more like patterns in like what we see. Like people have like designs on their shirt or in the background or something.
Yeah, I like that too, because
Yeah.
like every time they were wearing their own individual clothes, it would be a simple pattern, like a bunch of triangles down it or something like that.
Because normally like if she had color, there'd just be like plain, just
Yeah.
like red and blue or whatever.
Mm.
One of the pages that I chose was page 153, which is the very last page of the entire book. And that's when she's leaving home to go to Europe, that like her parents sent her there. And like in previous pages, it shows like her parents are like really supportive, kind of in front of her they're supportive. And then like, you know, when they're driving in, the dad's crying, and then at the very last page, she like turns around to see them, and that's when she like sees like how they actually feel about her leaving, and it shows like her mother couldn't even walk on her own. She had to she had to be carried.
Yeah, 151 when the father's driving her to the airport. I think it's ironic that he has tears in her eyes and not the mother, because usually you see the mother crying because it's her baby leaving. And the father's supposed to be the one trying to like
stay strong.
Yeah, stay strong. It's a perfect way to say it.
And one of the other pages that I liked was 142, where her neighbor's house is bombed. Yeah, that one. Her neighbor's house is bombed, and that's like her first time like having someone that she loves dies, rather than like people in the town just dying. And then I really liked the very last panel.
That's pitch black.
That's completely black, and it says, "No scream in the world could have relieved my suffering and my anger." Because
so basically that black thing, you like picturing it like a movie. It's like black screen, and then you hear a scream type thing.
Yeah.
So
and it's like you almost don't need an image to like know to know what she looks like.
Yeah.
It's all feelings
experiences
at that point.
Yeah.
You're just imagining
the previous panels help you out explaining that too. Yeah.
And even though it's like really sad, I don't know. I just really liked the way that she like showed that page.
Question number 5.
Yeah. Discuss why you think
Starapi
chose to construct this memoir, and why she decided to construct it in the manner that she did.
Oh, I think I can relate it to that art style again. Is that I think she chose to construct the memoir to dispel the stereotypes of Middle Eastern people and show that they're like everyone else, and they feel the same way. They're not just like they're not all like the
They're still people,
and
with opinions. They just have to follow to not like die, basically.
Yeah.
And that's also her fight, and probably the whole Iran's fight between modernism and religion. How like the government and religion mix, and it doesn't seem to be showing it in a positive way, in her opinion. But she's showing it too, and some people think it's a good thing, which I find, because we're Western, surprising.
And I think Chris, you were the one that brought up how how it wouldn't have been, it would have been harder to understand if the book was just only words.
Pictures.
Yeah, like if it was just like a normal novel rather than seeing the pictures.
Yeah, because the pictures define what she was specifically trying to get across to the reader, how she felt. It's if you just read the words, you'd probably just think about stuff yourself and maybe get a different perspective than the reader was trying to portray.
And you wouldn't picture it in her mind like she did.